Imagine this. You wake up one morning, and as you reach for your glasses, you can't remember where you left them. You walk into the kitchen, determined to make breakfast, but you stop midway, confused about why you came into the room in the first place. Then, you notice your prescription pill bottle sitting on the counter. You've been taking this medication faithfully for years, believing it was keeping you safe and healthy. But what if I told you that a Japanese doctor has revealed that this very medication, one commonly prescribed to millions of seniors worldwide, could be quietly erasing your memory, day by day, pill by pill? This isn't a science fiction story, and it isn't just bad luck. It's a medical reality backed by growing research, and today we're diving deep into the shocking truth. By the end of this video, you'll know which drugs could be harming your brain, how they affect your memory, and most importantly, the safer alternatives you can discuss with your doctor. The concern about medication and memory loss has been around for decades, but only in recent years have Japanese researchers sounded the alarm in a way that can no longer be ignored. Japan, a country known for its long-living population and advanced medical care, has been studying the effects of commonly prescribed drugs on aging brains. What they've uncovered is chilling. Certain medications, widely thought of as harmless, are directly linked to cognitive decline, confusion, and even early dementia symptoms. And here's the shocking part. You or someone you love might already be taking one of them. Let's start by understanding the basic truth. Your brain is like a supercomputer, storing memories, controlling your focus, and protecting your personality. But when you swallow a pill that interferes with neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers in your brain, it's like pouring sand into that supercomputer. The circuits start to glitch, connections get disrupted, and slowly memories fade. The medications we're about to discuss don't just mask symptoms, they can rewrite your brain's function at the cost of your clarity and independence. One of the biggest groups of drugs under fire are anticholinergics. These are medications prescribed for everything from allergies to bladder problems, insomnia, and even depression. The Japanese study revealed that these drugs block the action of acetylcholine, a crucial neurotransmitter your brain uses for memory and learning. Without enough acetylcholine, your brain struggles to form new memories and recall old ones. Imagine trying to write on a chalkboard with no chalk. The surface is there, but nothing sticks. This is exactly what happens in your mind when these medications accumulate. You may be wondering what medications fall under this category. Let's break it down. Drugs for seasonal allergies like diphenhydramine, better known as Benadryl in the US, are common culprits. Many seniors take these for sleep, not realizing they're sabotaging their brain health. Then there are bladder control medications like oxybutynin, prescribed for overactive bladder. Pain relievers, muscle relaxants, and even some antidepressants fit this dangerous profile. Japanese researchers found that long-term use of these medications, especially in older adults, accelerates memory loss far faster than natural aging ever would. But here's where the story takes a darker turn. Many seniors, especially in Western countries, are caught in a cycle. They feel anxious or can't sleep, so they take a pill. The pill helps for a while, but soon the side effects creep in: foggy memory, dizziness, and confusion. Doctors may then prescribe even more medications to treat those new symptoms without realizing the root cause is the original pill. This vicious cycle is what the Japanese doctor warns against. Now, you may be asking, is memory loss caused by these medications permanent? The hopeful news is that in some cases, stopping the offending drug can improve memory and clarity. Studies show that seniors who taper off anticholinergics or benzodiazepines often experience better cognitive function within months. However, if the damage has been long-standing, recovery may be limited. This is why catching the problem early is critical. So, what are some safe strategies you can adopt right now to protect your memory, especially if you're concerned about medications? First, always keep an updated list of all your prescriptions, over-the-counter drugs, and supplements. Bring this list to your doctor and ask them to review it for cognitive risks. Second, prioritize non-drug approaches whenever possible. For sleep, stick to a consistent bedtime routine, limit caffeine, and avoid screens late at night. For anxiety, gentle exercise, meditation, and herbal teas can provide relief without harming the brain. For bladder control, reduce caffeine, strengthen pelvic muscles, and discuss new generation medications that don't block acetylcholine. Third, nourish your brain with food. Japanese doctors often recommend a diet rich in omega-3 fatty acids from fish, antioxidants from fruits and vegetables, and brain-boosting nutrients like vitamin B12 and magnesium. These not only protect neurons, but also counteract some of the oxidative stress caused by medication.
Let me take you into the story of Mrs. Tanaka, a 72-year-old woman from Osaka. For years, she'd been a vibrant grandmother, cooking traditional meals for her family and even leading a local seniors walking club. But slowly, her family noticed changes. She began repeating the same stories within the same conversation. She misplaced her wallet 3 times in a single week. At first, everyone thought it was normal aging, but then the situation worsened. She forgot the way back from a grocery store she had visited for decades. Alarmed, her family took her to a memory clinic. After tests, her doctors traced the issue not to Alzheimer's disease, but to her medication. She'd been taking an anticholinergic drug for her bladder for over 8 years. When her doctor, who specialized in geriatric medicine, reviewed her prescriptions, he realized that the very pills meant to improve her quality of life were quietly stealing her memory. Within 6 months of carefully tapering off that drug, Mrs. Tanaka's clarity improved, her memory stabilized, and she regained confidence in her daily life. This story isn't unique. In Tokyo, researchers have documented dozens of similar cases. Seniors who were diagnosed with possible dementia turned out to be suffering from drug-induced memory loss, and when the medication was reduced, their symptoms improved. That's why Japanese doctors are sounding the alarm worldwide. Too often, what looks like dementia is really a side effect of prescription drugs. And the tragedy is that millions may be misdiagnosed, leading to unnecessary fear and even more unnecessary medication. Now, let's dive deeper into why these drugs are so damaging to the brain. Your brain communicates through a network of neurotransmitters, tiny chemical messengers that send signals from one neuron to another. One of the most important of these messengers is acetylcholine, which is crucial for memory formation, attention, and learning. Think of acetylcholine as the ink in a pen. Every time you experience something new, your brain uses this ink to write the memory onto your mental notepad. But when you take an anticholinergic drug, it's as if the pen runs dry. The memory doesn't get recorded. Over time, these gaps pile up until your brain's library of knowledge is riddled with missing pages. The Japanese researchers found that seniors already have naturally declining acetylcholine levels as part of aging. Adding a drug that blocks this chemical is like slamming the brakes on an already slowing car. The result? Sharp declines in recall, problem-solving, and focus. In other words, these medications accelerate brain aging years, even decades ahead of schedule. But here's something even more shocking. A large study published in Japan compared 2 groups of seniors, those on anticholinergic medications and those not taking them. Within just 3 years, the medicated group had a 54% higher risk of developing dementia-like symptoms. That means more than half of these seniors were pushed toward memory decline, not because of genetics, not because of bad luck, but because of prescriptions they trusted. And it's not just anticholinergics. Let's revisit benzodiazepines, the so-called calming pills. Seniors often turn to them for anxiety, stress, or sleepless nights. They work by enhancing GABA, another neurotransmitter that slows brain activity, producing relaxation. But here's the catch. That same calming effect dulls the brain's ability to form and retrieve memories. Imagine wrapping your brain in a thick fog. You feel calmer, but you also can't think as sharply. Japanese doctors warn that long-term use of these drugs, sometimes as short as 6 months, is linked to lasting memory impairment and a much greater risk of dementia. I want you to picture this cycle. A senior feels anxious, the doctor prescribes a benzodiazepine, the senior feels relief but slowly becomes forgetful. That forgetfulness causes stress and worry, so the doctor increases the dose. Over time, the senior becomes dependent, unable to sleep without the drug, and their memory worsens until daily life becomes a blur. This is not rare, it's a global problem. Let's add another layer: sleep medications. Many over-the-counter and prescription sleep aids also contain anticholinergic properties. Seniors desperate for rest often take these night after night, unknowingly trading restful sleep for long-term memory damage. The Japanese doctor leading the study said something profound. A single night's sleep is not worth losing 10 years of memory. That line alone should make every senior reconsider reaching for that pill bottle on the nightstand. Now, you might be asking, if these medications are so dangerous, why are they still prescribed? The answer is complex. In many cases, doctors prescribe them because they work quickly and provide short-term relief. Patients want immediate results, and medications deliver. But what isn't communicated enough is the long-term cost. In Japan, there's now a growing movement toward de-prescribing, the careful reduction of unnecessary medications, especially in seniors. Doctors there are trained not just to prescribe, but also to question: is this drug still necessary? Is there a safer alternative? This philosophy is saving lives and memories. Let's talk about alternative strategies, because solutions exist. For allergies, Japanese doctors recommend switching from older anticholinergic antihistamines to newer, non-sedating ones like loratadine or cetirizine, which have much less impact on memory. For bladder issues, pelvic floor therapy, bladder training exercises, and natural remedies like pumpkin seed extract have shown promise without cognitive side effects. For anxiety, mindfulness practices, breathing techniques, and in some cases safer medications can replace benzodiazepines. And for sleep, focusing on natural circadian rhythms, light exposure during the day, and gentle herbal teas like chamomile or valerian root can offer results without erasing your memories. But medication is only part of the puzzle. Japanese researchers emphasize the importance of brain-protecting habits. Diet is one of them. The traditional Japanese diet, rich in fish, seaweed, vegetables, and fermented foods, provides powerful nutrients for the brain. Omega-3 fatty acids in fish keep neurons flexible, while fermented foods like miso and natto support gut health, which directly impacts brain health. Green tea, a staple in Japan, is packed with antioxidants like catechins that protect against oxidative stress, one of the drivers of memory decline. Seniors who embrace these foods daily are giving their brains natural shields against the damage caused by both aging and medication. Physical activity is another cornerstone. In Japan, even seniors in their 80s can be seen practicing Tai Chi or morning calisthenics in parks. Exercise boosts blood flow to the brain, stimulates growth factors that encourage new brain cells, and helps flush out toxins. Contrast that with a lifestyle of sitting in front of the TV, relying heavily on medications for every small ailment, and you can see the difference clearly. And perhaps most fascinating is Japan's emphasis on ikigai, a sense of purpose. Seniors who wake up every morning with a reason to live, whether it's gardening, caring for grandchildren, or volunteering, are less likely to experience cognitive decline. The brain thrives when it feels useful, engaged, and connected. Medications may dull symptoms, but lifestyle and mindset fuel long-term clarity. Now, let's zoom out and look at global comparisons. In Western countries, polypharmacy, taking 5 or more medications daily, is extremely common in seniors. In fact, some studies in the U.S. show that nearly 40% of adults over 65 take at least 5 prescriptions at once. In Japan, doctors are increasingly cautious, reviewing medication lists regularly to cut back where possible. This cultural difference means that while Western seniors may unknowingly face memory loss from stacked prescriptions, Japanese seniors are more likely to avoid the worst effects by reducing unnecessary drugs early on. To illustrate the danger of polypharmacy, consider Mr. Sato, an 81-year-old retired engineer. He was on medications for blood pressure, sleep, allergies, and bladder control, 7 pills in total. His children noticed he was becoming forgetful, irritable, and even paranoid at times. Doctors initially suspected dementia, but when a geriatric specialist carefully reviewed his medications, he found that 3 of them were anticholinergics. Once these were replaced with safer alternatives, Mr. Sato's memory improved dramatically. This case became a teaching example across Japanese medical schools. Sometimes the cure is as simple as stopping the cause. And here's where the warning extends to you. If you or your loved ones are on multiple medications, it's time to ask, could any of these be affecting my memory? Don't wait for the signs of confusion to become permanent. Start the conversation today.